Yo, what's up, Chaos TV family? What's up, Chaos TV Network? It's your boy, Chaos Hero, here again, once again. Now, normally I would be sitting on the other receiving end of this camera and showing you the deck profile, but today I'm going to switch it up a little bit to do something a little bit different. So today we're going to be doing the deck profile on the Star Pendulum Graph Magician build. It is a very OP build. It's a very broken and strong build in my opinion. Honestly, it's a lot stronger than my Performer Pal build, and you know how much I love the Performer Pals. But let's get into the deck profile. I'm going to get into the main deck first, and then the extra deck. So first and foremost, we need to run for spell cards. We need to run one copy of Sky Iris, which is going to be your field spell. One copy of Pendulum Call, which is basically going to be, you know, if you got bad skills or you don't have no skills at all, you can basically re-up on that. Fusion spell cards only run 2 ofs of Odd Eyes Fusion, which is a must-have in this deck. Even though you don't run Odd Eyes in the main deck, you do run him in the extra deck. This is actually one of the first builds that I actually did with Pendulums that did not have Odd Eyes in it, so that's something new for me. 2 copies of Amazing Pendulum, which basically help you search out better pendulums and better skills that you need. For generic staples of spell cards, we run 3 copies of MST. That is a must-have. You can go on Trading Card Mint. They have tons of stock of regular Mirror Force. I mean, you don't have to always get the holographic versions, but these versions will just suffice. I got these for like 10 cents each, so these are really cheap, and they're very generic too. So run 3 of these, 3 of them things. For other staples for support, you need, and I repeat this, you need Star Pendulum Graph. So basically what Star Pendulum Graph's effect is, your opponent cannot target spell caster type monsters you control with spell cards or effects if a face-up magician pendulum monster cards, that means plural, means more than one, leaves your monster zone or your pendulum zone. Add 1 magician pendulum monster from your deck to your hand. Also, to your hand. You can only activate this effect of Pendulum Graph once per turn. So basically, Star Pendulum Graph's effect is only once per turn. It's a continuous spell. It's a very great spell. It allows you to basically add a spellcaster monster to your hand if your monsters got blue knight. So it's a great way to get into Star Graph Sorcerer. And it's really generic. And basically, as you can see, it is a great way because Star Graph Sorcerer is in the picture. So for generic, we're going on to the traps. For generic stuff, for traps, we have 1 copy of Solemn Strike. Solemn Warning is a good card to go in this deck, but I feel like Strike would be a lot better and a lot more efficient due to the fact that it has a much more broader effect, even though you do have to pay life points, but it's like 15. So it's really a, you know, pay a little steep cost, a slightly steep cost, but, you know, a better payout. Then for generic staple support strap cards, we get 3 copies of Time Pendulum Graph. Time Pendulum Graph is basically the parallel opposite cover of Star Pendulum Graph. It's a really good card. It's really amazing along with Star Pendulum Graph, because if they're both on the field, it brings a whole lot of synergy together. Basically, what Time Pendulum Graph's effect is, your opponent cannot target spellcaster type monsters you control with effects. You can only use the following effect of Time Pendulum Graph once per turn. You can target 1 Magician Pendulum monster card in your monster zone or pendulum zone. And if you do, and 1 card that your opponent controls, basically, destroy them both. Then if this card effect did not destroy 2 monsters, you can send send 1 card on the field to the graveyard, basically. So basically, like say if your opponent plays what's that 1 card? My friend July used to run it in his ninjas. I think it's called Sanctuary, or I think Salvation or something. It was a continuous spell card. You just equip it to a monster. You target a monster. That monster cannot be destroyed by battle at all, I think it can be destroyed by battle or card effect. I think so. And basically, this will trigger like monsters that can't be destroyed. It'd be like, okay, I prevent my monster from being destroyed by battle or card effect this turn. I'd be like, okay, that's cool. I can just trigger its other effect. I can just send it to the graveyard and be like, yeah, you're done. Because it doesn't destroy, it just sends it to the graveyard. So basically cards like, I can't be destroyed by battle or card effect, or can't be destroyed by battle or card effect. This actually gets over that by saying, hey, yeah, I destroyed my monster and I'll destroy yours. Okay, yeah, it's still on the field. Okay, yeah, destroy it, send it to the graveyard. But you can't destroy it. Yeah, it just sends it to the graveyard. So whatever. So yeah, that works in synergy with Star Pendulumgraph, and also force triggers most of the magicians in the deck too, like Purple Poison, a Double Iris, Black Fang, and also Clear Wing. White Wing. They also force trigger their own effects. Zenkai Magician. Basically, the only reason why you should run one Zenkai is because if you're running Raging Eyes in this build, that's the only reason. And you only need one of him. You don't really need two. Tuners, outside of anything else, we have one Noble Dragon Magician. So those are the one-ofs of the Pendulum monsters. Two tuners, basically two more tuners. Two Harmonizing Magicians. One White Wing Magician. You only need one of her in this build. You can run her at two, but it's a here or there type of thing, tomato kind of thing. But I usually run one of her. I don't run two of her. Your main goal, if you want to, is to try to get her into the graveyard. Decks like this, if you're trying to go into Zark, because there is Zark in this build, you have to make sure she gets into the graveyard. If you're playing against cards like basically DD, different dimensional people, or like you're playing Dark Law, this can Dark Law can really mess the momentum of this deck if you're trying to go into Zark real early. So if you have an opponent that you're going against that they're actually using Dark Law, run two of her. At some point you can find a way to get rid of Dark Law. I don't know, but you probably can. For the generic staples is my boy, and I'm glad that he actually got off the ban list, the limited list. 3 of Scold, Crobat, Joker. You need to run 3 because he's a good generic search, and he actually helps get momentum out because he is like basically a splashable search for Performer Pals, Odd Eyes, and also as well as Magicians. I suggest anytime you make a Magician, Odd Eyes, or Performer Pal build, get 3 of Crobat, Joker. You cannot start your Pendulum deck without it. You really can't. Magicians. For 3 ofs, we got Oath Dragon Magician. Oath Dragon basically gets, my apologies, I'm literally just fumbling over myself. I have to drink that water. Nectar of the Gods, that's what that is. You drink, I'm sorry. Oath Dragon Magician's effect is basically, in the Pendulum Zone, his effect basically triggers in the Pendulum Zone. That's one of the main things you need to get with him. You set him in the Pendulum Scale. If he's right across from another Pendulum monster that's a Magician, you can basically take one of your Pendulum Magician monsters from the extra deck that ended up in the extra deck and put it back in your hand. So it's a great way to like bring, Wisdom Eye or Purple Poison, like whatever you may have in the deck. Like say if okay, you set the scales with Oath Dragon, and let's say another Wisdom Eye. Okay, Wisdom Eye pops itself, goes to the extra deck right over there. Then you summon another Pendulum Magician monster. Let's say it's something else besides not Wisdom Eye. Don't try this, but say if I can, put some other magician like Purple Poison. Purple Poison's in the other scale. This is in the other scale. I can get this back in my hand because his effect, because he's right across from another Pendulum Magician monster. So that's how the effect works with that. But I digress. Let's get back into the deck profile real quick. But like I said, 3 of him because he's a great generic search, and if you Pendulum summon him, it's a great way to get into. It's a great way to get into a lot of things. To be honest with you, I think you can synchro summon in certain things, and yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can go straight into I think Black Rose Dragon, or if you want to, go into something generic like, Stardust, Spark Dragon, or probably Clear Wing, Crystal Wing. Either way, doesn't matter. It's a great way to get into it if you want to synchro summon instead. Then we run 3 of Wisdom Eye. Wisdom Eye basically force pops himself. He's basically Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon without the Odd Eyes effect. You don't have to, in your battle phase, you just pop him and replace the scale with another Magician monster except for him. And it kind of changed with Oath Dragon, like I said before. And he's a pretty good generic 4, so you can get into Time Star Magician really easily with another Magician monster on field. You need, if you're going to be running Zark build, you're going to need 3 of him. Chronograph is for those magician builds that don't want to run Zark, but who in God's name, or Egyptian God's name, is going to run a pendulum graph magician build with chronograph and not Zark. I've seen it done before, but it just doesn't make sense to me. That's me personally. But 3 astrograph magician, astrograph sorcerers. There's a really difficult clause with him because only certain things can target him till you can search him out the deck. Unfortunately, he is not a magician. So cards that have the effect of, like, Time Star Magician, where you can search for 1 dark spellcaster, this can search him out. I believe another card can search him out in this deck that targets dark spellcasters. So that's the only way you can search him out. But if you do get the chance to search anything, search him out first when you get the chance, because you need him in the hand when you want to get the momentum down, if you want to go for Zark first turn, and if you can. 3 of the generic, how can I say, dimensional wizards, dimensional magicians. They're basically the humanoid counterparts of their dimensional dragon counterparts. So I'm going to go by this list real officially. 3 of purple poison. You need 3 of purple poison. I cannot stress that enough. 3 of black fang. All right. And 3 of double iris. You need 3 of double iris, 3 of black fang, 3 of purple poison. You can get 3. I would suggest purchase 3 white wing magicians. They are useful, but in retrospect, to be honest with you, they're really not that good to where you need to run 3 of them things. You only need to run at least 2 or 1 of white wing magician. That's the reason why I said run 1 of white wing magician, because you only need basically 1. All right, now that's done with the main deck. Let's get on with the extra deck. So for right now, this is all I can get my hands on. Is I have like tons of copies of this, but I only run 2 of Time Star Magician. I really should be running 3, but I try to make room for my synchros. Hopefully, I should be adding Nirvana High Paladin in this deck, but maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, 2 of Time Star Magician. 2 of Odd Eyes Absolute. I may be replacing these 2 with something else. I do not know for sure yet, but I will be. I'll probably take 1 copy of Absolute out and put another copy of Time Star Magician in here. But yeah, for right now, 2 copies of Odd Eyes Absolute. 1 copy of Supreme King Dark Rebellion and 1 copy of regular Dark Rebellion. Let me put these over here so y'all can see them. That'd be rude. And 1 copy, like I said, since you're running Zenkai in this build, 1 copy of Odd Eyes Raging. You'll rarely get the chance to get into him, but if you have Zenkai in the build, you can add him. It's really cool. Then for the Crown Jewel, for fusions, we have my boy, the king, the big guy himself, Supreme King Zark. You will need to run him in this deck. You will need to have him in this deck. There is literally no denying that. Excuse me. Sorry. For fusions, we have 1 regular copy of Starving Venom Dragon and 1 copy of Starving Venom Dragon Supreme King. You only need 1 of each copy. You really don't. It's just like Dark Rebellion and Dark Rebellion Supreme King. You don't need that many. You really don't. You just need 1 of each. If you're going to do the Crystal Wing or Clear Wing, you can do the Supreme King and regular one itself as well. It's up to you. Generic Odd Eyes Fusions. You can get you can actually in this build you can get Odd Eyes Rune Eyes Dragon's effect, his 3rd effect off, where you can attack 3 times, because every magician is high enough to actually get that effect off. You will need 2 copies of Odd Eyes Vortex. It is a mandatory must. And for synchros for right now, until I get some more support for the synchros, 1 copy of Stardust Spark Dragon, because he does splash in this deck very well. Actually, surprisingly, he does. and 1 copy of Black Rose, or you can just get Black Rose Moonlight. It is up to you. No one really is judging you or caring. And if you want to, you can run Red Dragon, Hot Red Dragon Archfiend in this build if you want to, because he is also generic and splashable. But yeah, that's it for the extra deck. And like I said, overall, this build is interesting. I would say really interesting. I like it. I like how it's heavy hitting. It's powerful. It's strong. It's not as fun and experimentative as the Performer Pals would be, in my opinion. Because Performer Pals, to me, I experimented a lot with that build. A lot more than I did with this. But if you're not into experimentation, you're into pendulums, but you want simple, straightforward stuff, and you like magicians and spellcasters, this is the build for you. I would give this a... I'd give this rating... The way I would rate this deck is basically I give it a 9, a decent 9, because it's really odd that the fact is you can run this deck without Odd Eyes, but technically Odd Eyes is in the deck due to Double Iris, so technically Odd Eyes is in the deck, so it counts. So I'd give it a 10, 10 and a half. But this is a great deck profile. I really like this deck. I've used it several times. I've been taught how to use this well by my friend. Pretty Mark 9. Sorry about my voice. It's getting a little raspy because I'm just getting over a cold. I'm still working through it. I swear, water is a cure-all for everything. But water is a cure-all for everything. Anyways, this has been my deck profile on the Pendulum Magicians. Be sure to check out my my deck profile on the Weathery Painters. It's a pretty interesting deck profile, in my opinion. Also, did a little tidbit. You can replace Compulsory Evacuation Device in that build with Weatheries with Solemn Warning, because it actually does work well. Also, be sure to look forward to my deck profile on my upcoming deck profile that I should be getting done, which is Lunar Lights. Hopefully, I get that done. I'm really, really looking forward to that. Also, check out my Counter Fairy budget build. If you haven't checked out my playthrough of King's Raid, be sure to check that out. It's an app game on the mobile phone that I've recently played. I can't really control how to record it, but from what I've already witnessed, it does have a capture system installed in the game. But like I said, it's a really good game. You can find it on Google App Store. It's a really fun game to me. It's really interesting. The graphics and the motion, the frame rate is beautiful. It does have a tendency to lag, but it's okay. Other than that, this is your boy Chaos Hero. I just jumped at the Chaos to show you what's good. Peace.